Toastmaster Ajit Kumar.
Wow, this is wonderful. Thank you very much for that excellent introduction, Master of Ceremony. And indeed, today we are looking forward to lots of action. Freedom is hammered out of the anvil of discussion, dissent and debate, said Sir Herbert Humphrey, the 38th Vice President of the United States. Now, where freedom exists, that's where the expressions grow, where the creativity grows. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm not audible?
Good evening.
Okay, fine. Well, debating indeed is an art, so relevant in today's world, when lots of important decisions of sensitivities are made. Now, it is important that underlying the essence of the debating is that it has to be done in a framework of etiquette and elegance. Now, you may be seeing a different story in the parliaments, but that's not what we are practicing in Arabian Toastmasters Club. Here in Arabian, we have been promoting the skill of debating, and our seasoned Toastmasters have always made them interesting, no matter how trivial the topic is. Today, on the 10th anniversary of Arabian Toastmasters Club, we have chosen some leaders of Jubail fraternity, the Arabian, the leaders of Arabian, the pillars of Arabian, who have been very instrumental in the growth of this club, to come forward and participate in this debate. They have a Midas touch when it comes to communication, and they have proven themselves to be the leaders in various forums. And it is significant to note that most of them, if not all of them would be at some day, are distinguished Toastmasters. Now you know now about the distinguished Toastmasters. Most of you already in Toastmaster fraternity know it, but for the benefit of guests, I must repeat what our president had just said. DTM is the highest educational achievement one can reach in Toastmasters fraternity, offered by Toastmasters International. Now, let me proceed and explain to you the process of debate, what we have thought for the evening. There are two teams of 3 members each. One team would argue in the support of the topic, and that team is called the affirmative team. The other team will argue against the topic, is called the negative team. The leader of the affirmative team will start the topic, followed by the leader of the negative team. Similarly, the other 2 members of the teams will speak alternately in affirmative and in negative contests. Each of the speakers will take 3 to 4 minutes with a grace time of 30 seconds on the upper side. Finally, the leader of the negative team concludes the argument, followed by the leader of the affirmative team to conclude his argument. The time allotted for the concluding speeches are 2 to 3 minutes with a grace period of 30 seconds on the upper side. There will be an alarm when the grace period exceeds. Now, when the alarm goes off, the speaker is expected to stop immediately. And if he doesn't stop, his speech will be disqualified, and his team may gather some negative points. Now, we have an array of experienced judges to judge this event. They are leaders, they are debaters themselves, and they are led by our chief judge. I would request our chief judge to just stand up and acknowledge himself. He is Toastmaster Woman Thomas. And there is something peculiar about Toastmaster Woman Thomas. When it comes to rule, he's as rigid as a glass rod. He never bends it. He will never allow it to be bent. Thank you, Toastmaster Woman Thomas. That he's assisted by an able assignees like our chief timer, Toastmaster Varghese Koshi, and assistant timer, Madam Toastmaster Rashmi, and also the tally counters, Toastmaster Shivashankar Shyam and Toastmaster Gyas Ahmed. Thank you very much. Two best speakers from each of the team, the affirmative as well as negative team will be adjudged as the best speakers, as well as the best team will be selected who really established the argument in the minds of the audience. Now let me introduce the great warriors of today's big fight. And they will come and occupy the chair as I introduce them one by one. To start with, we have the leader of the affirmative team, DTM Suresh Kumar. He is the first DTM of Arabian Toastmasters Club, a champion speaker himself who has kept our flag flying high, even area level, division level, and he went up to the district level even. He's been the past area governor, and he's going to lead the affirmative team this evening. Now we have a father figure of Jubail Toastmaster fraternity. He's the first DTM of Jubail area, DTM PGR Nair, a double postgraduate in chemical engineering and English literature. Can I see? Where is? Oh yes. For a moment, I missed my couple of beats here. He's a walking encyclopedia. All of you know, he's a mastermind behind the world quiz so popular right across Saudi Arabia. A highly articulate speaker himself, armed with cannonballs of word power. Please help me welcome DTM PGR Nair, who will lead the negative team. The second member of the affirmative team is who is made out of humor bombs. He's a DTM, a champion humorous speaker as well, a leader from our sister club, Global Toastmasters Club. Here is a Toastmaster with unbound energy of energy and enthusiasm, a person who you can count anytime for any help. A born leader, a corrosion engineer who is a key player in the success of NACE Jubail chapter. Of course, I must acknowledge he at times calls me and gives me a free dinner there. And please help me welcome this leader of Jubail area, DTM Safir Mohammed, to join the affirmative team. He is joining the affirmative team. Don't cross the other side. The second member of the team is, though not a DTM, has shown a much caliber in the similar fashion. I suppose she's a second member. Third member? Okay. Now the second member of the the negative team is a past area governor of Area 53, a born leader, a champion speaker, and above all, a Toastmaster with amazing talent of repartee. A verbal spontaneity and humor sense of this Toastmaster has entertained anybody who gets a chance to speak to him. On top of that, he's a wonderful actor as well. You will get to see that. A mentor of many Toastmasters Club, a powerful leader, the main pillar of Arabian Toastmasters Club, one of the main pillars of Arabian Toastmasters Club. Please help me welcome DTM Vasudhar Gopal to join the negative today. He will be the second speaker. And the third member of the affirmative team is our own immediate past area governor. Sorry, division governor. Beg your pardon. Division governor. A communicator with melodious voice, something you must listen to him. When he calls you up on telephone, you won't feel like putting it down. A communicator with a born artist who can craft words with gestures and weave images with expressive language. He has recently completed all requirements of DTM and awaiting a plaque to come from the Toastmasters International. Please help me welcome Advanced Communicator Gold, Advanced Leader, Toastmaster Jacob Kuriakos, to join the affirmative team. Now, the third member from the negative team, as I said earlier, though she's not a DTM, has shown as much caliber from the day she stepped into this club. I remember that day when I asked her to speak impromptu, she really got us all stunned. Here is a speaker with excellent acumen for impromptu speaking skills, has brought home the Division F Championship Award in Table Topics Contest. A chartered accountant by profession. Please help me welcome the competent communicator and competent leader, Madam Toastmaster Parvati Narayan, to join the negative team. So, these are the warriors for the big fight of the evening. Give them all a thunderous round of applause. Now, before we start, I need the help of the Sergeant at Arms to make some arrangements, because I don't know whether you will be comfortable to speak from here. Okay? You all can see them?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, then we will leave it as it is. Now, let me check with the Chief Judge whether...
He has to come to the center.
Okay, are you there? Okay. Are your judges comfortable? They are ready? All right. The debaters would like to have the podium at the center. And how will you sit?
We'll just move away so that we can keep distance.
Okay, fine. It's better that we keep the distance so that it will not come to the Indian Parliament style. Will it come?
Draw a line also.
Possible to take it to the center.
Before we start, I would like the timing device to be demonstrated. Can you just see whether you can see this timing device from here?
At the podium, no, we'll be at the podium.
Yes, you will. Already done. There is a clarification sought by the Chief Judge about the disqualification part of the debate. I would like the Chief Judge to come and explain that point, please. With regard to exceeding the time limit.
As discussed earlier with the participants, if a speaker speaks more than the allotted time, he will not be considered for the best debater, as a best debater. And for the winning team, there will be a negative mark at the discretion of the judges. Some marks will be deducted for that particular speaker. It's clear?
Thank you, Chief Judge, for that clarifications. So the timing device is okay, and you are ready now?
Yes.
Can I just hear the alarm?
Alarm will be...
Okay, fine. Don't break it, please. Now, let me start the big fight. Now that everybody is ready, ladies and gentlemen, the topic for the evening is it is resolved that women are better teachers. It is resolved that women are better teachers. I would now invite the leader of the affirmative team to start, Toastmaster Suresh Kumar.
Respected debate master, honorable chief guest and my teacher, Dr. Saeed Hamid, distinguished guests, fellow Toastmasters and my little children, good evening. I am delighted to address you as the leader of the affirmative team on the given subject, women are better teachers. We are comparing the abilities of men and women in their roles as teachers. In order to define the topic of debate, we must understand the word teacher. A teacher is a person who imparts knowledge to his students, his or her students, based on the education and experience or both that she or he has achieved over the period of time. Now let me put forth my views on the subject. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know the one job in the world that a man never takes? It's the role of a kindergarten teacher. That's because he just doesn't have it in him. It takes a lot to be a teacher of kindergarten. And how you teach the children in this fragile and impressionable age has a huge bearing on what they can be in the future and what we can make them in the future and how we can mold them in the future. And the man just doesn't have that in him. My wife is a kindergarten teacher, and I can say, I can understand, I know what it takes to be one. Now this debate is not about kindergarten teachers. Let me take it to the larger context of teachers in general. Motherhood is that wonderful gift that God has bestowed upon women. And with that gift comes the ability to love and care and nurture, a quality that is required in a teacher. And this quality a woman has in abundance. And therefore, being caring and loving to the students creates an atmosphere where learning and teaching can take place better. And therefore, women are indeed better teachers. And with these qualities comes an ability to connect emotionally with the child. And with that connection comes the empathy. She or he is able to empathize. She is able to empathize better than him. And therefore, when this emotional connection takes place, teaching and learning takes place better. Something a man finds it very difficult to do. He has to take a lot of extra steps to get to that point. But for women teachers, it comes naturally. Man being born leaders, generally leaders of the family, leaders in the community, are very rigid to systems and are very rigid in their views. But sometimes it requires a lot of flexibility, where you have to come down to the intellectual plane of the child to get into the heart of the child to explain, to change the system, and sometimes required to mold yourself into what the child needs, tailor-made programs for the child. Also this helps in creating a non-intimidating atmosphere. I remember when I was in class 9, a teacher of physics was trying to explain something to us in a very strict atmosphere, and none of us could understand what it was, but none of us had the courage to stand up and say that. But one boy stood up and said, and he explained again, he did not understand, and he explained again, he said, "You are a dumb guy, you don't understand." And somebody else stood up and said, "I didn't understand either, sir. You're a dumb class of dumb children." And it was completely intimidating. And then the principal came with a lady teacher, and 5 minutes, and the concept was understood. Because she used a different technique. She had the ability to come down to the level of the child in a non-intimidating atmosphere. It takes a woman to be a better teacher. You take the statistics of India, the number of teachers who are men and women, I'm sure it will speak for itself. Women have this ability to take children along with them more than men. And that's why there is no doubt that women are better teachers. This is a debate master.